Good morning and welcome to the Daily Meditation Bible. I'm Joel Miller and we are reading through the complete Bible in a year. Today is February the 7th, 2024. And today we are reading concerning the construction of the temple of God in Exodus. And some people, and I totally understand this, might say that when you're reading about the construction of the temple, it's like reading about grass growing, not very exciting. But we know, because it's here, that there are things that we can definitely glean from this. Our God thought it was important enough to put it here in the scriptures for us. But the question is, what can we glean from it? This was definitely God's mobile home, if you will. Of course, he's omnipresent, he's uncontainable. But as we read through this chapter together, we know that not only did God give specific instructions to build his temple, but he gives specific instructions to build our human temple, our bodies, his current dwelling place in us. Just as the temple was mobile, our present temples, our human bodies are mobile as well. And just as he is specific in the Old Testament, he's specific now as it relates to building and developing and structuring our lives today. So let us keep that in mind as we read the meticulous development of the temple for his dwelling. And I would also ask that you would please share this channel so that more people might be impacted by the word of God as we journey together through the year, through the scriptures. And also join me after the reading of scripture. I look forward to connecting with you for a few minutes. We're going to start our reading today in the book of Exodus, chapter 26, verse 1 through chapter 27, verse 21. And then we're going in the New Testament to the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 30, moving to the book of Psalms chapter 31, verses 1 through 8, and finally Proverbs 8, verses 1 through 11, beginning in Exodus chapter 26, verse 1. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen and blue and purple and scarlet yarn. You shall make them with cherubim skillfully worked into them. The length of each curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall be the same size. 5 curtains shall be coupled to one another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled to one another. And you shall make loops of blue on the edge of the outermost curtain in the first set. Likewise, you shall make loops on the edge of the outermost curtain in the second set. 50 loops you shall make on the one curtain, and 50 loops you shall make on the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one another, and you shall make 50 clasps of gold, and couple the curtains one to the other with clasps, so that the tabernacle may be a single whole. You shall also make curtains of goat hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shall you make. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall be the same size. You shall couple 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and the 6 curtains you shall double over at the front of the tent. You shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in the second set. You shall make 50 clasps of bronze, and put the clasps into the loops, and couple the tent together that it may be a single whole. And the part that remains of the curtain of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. And the extra that remains in the length of the curtains, the cubic on the one side and the cubic on the other side, shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and that side, to cover it. And you shall make for the tent a covering of tan ram skin and a covering of goat skin on the top. You shall make upright frames for the tabernacle of acacia wood. 10 cubits shall be the length of a frame, and the cubit and a half the breadth of each frame. There shall be 2 tenons in each frame for fitting together. So shall you do for all the frames of the tabernacle. You shall make the frames for the tabernacle, 20 frames for the south side, and 40 bases of silver you shall make under the 20 frames. 2 bases under one frame for its 2 tenons, and 2 bases under the next frame for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 frames, and their 40 bases of silver, 2 bases under one frame and 2 bases under the next frame. And for the rear of the tabernacle westward you shall make 6 frames, and you shall make 2 frames for corners of the tabernacle in the rear, and they shall be separated beneath, but joined at the top at the first ring. Thus it will be with both of them. They shall form the 2 corners, and there shall be 8 frames with their bases of silver, 16 bases, 2 bases under one frame and 2 bases under another frame. You shall make bars of Arcadia wood, 5 for the frame of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frame of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frame of the side of the tabernacle at the rear westward. The middle bar halfway up the frame shall run from end to end. You shall overlay the frames with gold, and shall make their rings of gold for holders for the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan for it that you were shown on the mountain. And you shall make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine twined linen. It shall be made with cherubim skillfully worked in. And you shall hang it on 4 pillars of Arcadia overlaid with gold, with hooks of gold, on 4 bases of silver. And you shall hang the veil from the clasps, and bring the ark of the testimony in there within the veil. And the veil shall separate for you the holy place from the most holy. You shall put the mercy seat on the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And you shall set the tabernacle outside the veil, and the lampstand on the south side of the tabernacle, opposite the table, and you shall put the table on the north side. You shall make a screen for the entrance of the tent, of blue and purple and scarlet yarn of fine twined linen, embroidered with needlework. And you shall make for the screen 5 pillars of Arcadia, and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 bases of bronze for them. You shall make the altar of Arcadia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be square, and its height shall be 3 cubits. And you shall make horns for it on its 4 corners. Its horns shall be of one piece with it, and you shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make pots for it to receive its ashes, and shovels and basins and forks and fire pans. And you shall make all its utensils of bronze. And you shall also make for it a grating, a network of bronze, and on the net you shall make 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners, and you shall set it under the ledge of the altar, so that the net extends halfway down the altar. And you shall make poles for the altar, poles of Arcadia wood, and overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put through the rings, so that the poles are on 2 sides of the altar when it is carried. You shall make it hollow with boards. As it was shown to you on the mountain, so shall it be made. You shall make the court of the tabernacle. On the south side, the court shall have hangings of fine twined linen, 100 cubits long for one side. Its 20 pillars and their 20 bases shall be of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for its length on the north side there shall be hangings 100 cubits long, its pillars 20 and their bases 20 of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side there shall be hangings of 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and 10 bases. The breadth of the court on the front to the east shall be 50 cubits. The hangings for the one side of the gates shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. On the other side the hangings shall be 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. For the gate of the court there shall be a screen 20 cubits long, of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and fine twined linen, embroidered with needlework. It shall have 4 pillars with them, 4 bases. All the pillars around the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their bases of bronze. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, the breadth 50, and the height 5 cubits, with hanging of fine twined linen and bases of bronze. All the utensils of the tabernacle for every use, and all its pegs, and all the pegs of the court shall be of bronze. You shall command the people of Israel that they bring to you pure beaten olive oil for the light, that a lamp may regularly be set to burn. In the tent of meetings outside the veil that is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever to be observed throughout their generation by the people of Israel. Reading from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 30. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took a flask of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "Since there will not be enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealer and buy for yourselves." And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterwards the other virgins came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. And for it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servant and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, "Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." And he who also had 2 talents came forward, saying, "Master, you have delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." He also, who had received 1 talent, came forward, saying, "Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours." But his master answered, "You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reaped where I had not sown, and gathered where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the banker, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Reading from Psalms chapter 31, verses 1 through 8. In you, O Lord, do I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness deliver me. Incline your ear to me and rescue me speedily. Be a rock of refuge for me, a strong fortress to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress, and for your name's sake you lead me and guide me. You take me out of the net that they have hidden for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hand I commit my spirit, for you have redeemed me, O Lord, faithful God. I hate those who pay regard to worthless idols, but I trust in the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in your steadfast love, because you have seen my affliction. You have known the distress of my soul, and you have not delivered me into the hands of the enemy. You have set my feet in a broad place. And finally today, reading Proverbs, the 8th chapter, verses 1 through 11. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand. Besides the gate in front of the town, at the entrance of the portal, she cries aloud. To you, O men, I call, and my cry is to the children of man. O simple ones, learn prudence. O fools, learn sense. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right, for my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Take my instructions instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. Well, today, my brothers and sisters, today we had the opportunity, like the disciples, to sit at the feet of Jesus and hear this incredible parable. I mean, really, just like the disciples heard it. And it's easy, I'm sure, for them, as it is for us, for it to have little or no impact, especially because, we don't see the in-between. We see the beginning of the parable and the talent where the individuals were giving a certain amount of talent, and then we see the result of the end, but we don't see the in-between. But we know that each of them experienced struggle, not just the person who received an additional 5, but and not the one who just buried his talent. They all experienced struggle. I know they all experienced disappointment, failures, and victories, just like we do. We experience victories, disappointments, failures, and we can also discern that Jesus was not talking about money. I mean, it seems as though Jesus is talking about money, particularly when we hear about the talent that was buried. But we know that Jesus pulled money out of a fish's mouth. The streets in heaven are paved with gold. God made all precious stones. I mean, he's not in need of these things. He's the creator of all things. But the talent that I believe that he is referring to, the most precious talent of all, is the talent of our lives, your life and my life. And we are a walking, talking talent in the earth. And the question is, and this is what Jesus is saying, is what will you do with that talent? It's so easy, especially today, just to focus on the struggle. Who didn't love us, what we didn't have, what we haven't achieved, who didn't support us, who talked about us. We can focus on the hardship of the taskmaster of life. And that is so easy to do. I'm speaking from experience. Or we can bring value to the life of others and value to ourselves by leveraging our lives and serving others. Listen, it is my hope today that, both you and I, in the midst of no matter what we're dealing with, no matter what challenges that we have, that we would have hearts of gratitude and service, not only to Jesus, but to those that he places in our lives, and that we would actually look at our challenges and struggles of opportunities where God is sharpening us and developing us. It is such a joy and pleasure to be with you today. I love you, my friend, and I look forward to being with you tomorrow. God bless. Talk to you soon.